Hi everybody, this is meteorologist Greg D. watching thunderstorms from home today. The Storm Prediction Center has extended the slight risk into Arkansas for today. We'll put out the interstates on there so it's a little bit easier to see what we're talking about. Little Rock back toward the west. This is as close I can get, unfortunately, on this map, but you see it there. The tornado threat remains highest in Oklahoma. It's up to 10% with an enhanced risk in the hatched area. Northwest Arkansas, 5%, which is typical for a slight risk, and then Little Rock barely makes it into the 2%, which is kind of low. Wind threat a little bit higher, and that really slight risk has been extended for the wind threat east. The tornado threat is mainly toward western Arkansas. That wind threat extends back up towards Highway 67, points north and east. The hail threat, about 15%, highest in Oklahoma, up to 45%. Even though the tornado threat is high in Oklahoma, up to 10%, they're 4.5 times more likely to see severe hail anywhere in the area compared to actual tornadoes. But we'll keep watching those storms. Of course, a watch is up for much of central and western Arkansas. We'll put up that information as well. It's Tornado Watch number 253. How about that? We have had 253 watches already issued this year across the United States. We'll pull up a bigger map of it here so you can see it. It does include as far east as Fulton, Izard, Stone, Cleburne, Faulkner, and Pulaski County. As far south and southeast as Pulaski, Saline, Hot Spring, Clark, Pike, Howard, Sevier, and Little River County, and points on to the north and west. So Russellville, Harrison, Fayetteville all included. Hot Springs, Mena, of course, as well. And we've been watching storms so far this afternoon and this evening. We'll be watching more of them, actually a couple of warnings. I'm not going to go over the warnings here because I don't know when you're going to be watching this, so it's not pertinent to share the warning information with you, but we'll animate the radar here out of Fort Smith and show you that what we're watching is these little cells that are moving into western Arkansas. Some of these have been rotating at times, sometimes faster than others, and it's really the farther west you go that you're going to see better tornado parameters. So the storms in western Arkansas are the ones that are going to tend to rotate. You'll see lots of cells in central and eastern Arkansas as well, but these are not in an environment that will allow them to produce tornadoes. They may rotate very slowly, but probably not strong enough to actually create a tornado or two. The actual spin map on the radar you see here near Mena, the storm now, there's a little bright blue and kind of a red area. That's probably where the storm rotation is. But there are some other spots and other cells down to the south in Polk County that are rotating, whereas farther west, you don't see that on the radar. Even if we look at things with the Little Rock radar site, you just don't see the little bright spots there. A couple try to show up in Pike County, and then they kind of fizzle out. So they'll come and go through the rest of this afternoon. Of course, I'll post individual updates on those as is necessary. Wind damage is also going to be a threat. Look at this little segment here moving into the Highway 65 corridor. Mountain Home, Melbourne, back into north central Arkansas. Could easily see winds 60 to 70 miles an hour with these storms as they track on toward the east. And you see there are cells around Highway 167 from Cave City to Batesville, but these are not going to rotate. They'll put down some heavy rain, some lightning and thunder. They're just not in an environment that's really favorable for tornadoes right now. So where is that environment? Well, let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center map here. We'll look at some of the maps. Now what we're looking at here first is let's look at the satellite picture across Arkansas. In Arkansas on the right side of the screen, lots of thunderstorms overhead, but earlier you see breaks in the east and south. Sunshine has come out. We're plenty warm. Temperatures well into the 80s. Current temperature 85 at Searcy, 83 in Little Rock, 80 in Camden, 83 in El Dorado, even the 70s where it's raining. Lots of warm. So when we look at the storm energy map, or CAPE is what it's called, you see a lot of numbers here, 2,000, 3,000, very high numbers. These are more than enough for thunderstorms. Typically in the winter, early severe weather outbreaks, we would say, well, you need sun to get this number up, to get this energy up. This time of year, you don't really need a lot of sun. It's just warm and humid. The air is already unstable. What you do need are some winds and certain conditions in terms of those winds. First, you need winds changing speed with height. Not just direction, but first we need speed. That allows the air to rise. Right now, the deep shear from the surface to about 6 kilometers up, it's marginal across Arkansas. So I think what we're seeing is these thunderstorms rising. They get strong for a while, and then they kind of peter out, and then you get these segments that start moving along. Really, they're being created by the thunderstorms themselves. The motion, the storm motion, is aided by the storms themselves. That's not what you really want to see for tornadoes. That's what you tend to see for wind damage, and I think that's why the Storm Prediction Center has extended that slight risk a little farther east. Now you also need wind shear near the surface to get the air rising. A quick change in wind speed as you go up. We're definitely seeing that. Wind shear values anywhere that's in the dark lines here, 25 knots or more, certainly enough to get the air going. All right, so we got enough to kind of get the storm started. How about spin? Well, when we look at a thick layer of the atmosphere, the most spin right now is right along I-40 between Morrilton and Fort Smith to just about Winslow, south of Fayetteville. We'll include northwest Arkansas in that as well, into southwestern Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. So this is where the tornado threat is really maximized, and it kind of backs down toward Mena and southwest Arkansas. That's where we're seeing some of the warnings now. What you really would like to spin at, though, is very close to the surface. And here is where the atmosphere is primed for spin in the lowest 1 kilometer. Again, it's the darkest outlines you want to be looking at. That's western Arkansas, Danville, Fort Smith, Russellville, Morrilton, everyone along I-40. From just west of Conway back toward the Oklahoma state line, northwest Arkansas, and it's southwest Arkansas as well. I know these dark outlines kind of break up from time to time. That's not because there's no spin there. It's probably because the model just hasn't filled it in. A lot of this is automatically generated. So what's the forecast for this as we move into later this afternoon? The model kind of moves it up into north central Arkansas, but doesn't really get it toward Little Rock. Notice the values later on tonight, 6 hours from now. They drop off in central Arkansas a little bit. They kind of spread out across the region. So I don't think we'll be dealing with a big tornado threat across central Arkansas. Even change the model here to see what it looks like. But we'll kind of watch it. I think most of the activity is going to be out to the west. So as you see, the radar very busy this afternoon. Of course, we'll keep watching the storms there towards western Arkansas. Update you on any watches and warnings as they're issued. If we need to, we'll activate the Arkansas Storm Team. Otherwise, just kind of stay tuned to the Facebook page and for updates throughout the afternoon. I'll try to do another video update later on today to keep you updated. Thanks for making KRK for your weather authority. Remember that Facebook page. This is going to be gold later on today as folks get out there and I post updates. You'll see all the latest weather information. I know you're going to ask me questions like, what about Cabot? What about this? Is this person going to get storms? Folks, I don't know. Just track the storms. I can't be looking at every town in Arkansas. If I'm talking about your town, that means you're getting storms. If I haven't mentioned you, that means there's nothing headed your way right now. Let's just keep it at that and keep the chatter to a minimum so we have enough time and space on the page to get the most pertinent information out to folks. All right, everybody, have a good afternoon and evening. I'll keep watching things and keeping you updated from home. Thanks for making us your weather authority.